So not too long ago, I posted a video about the recent hurricane we had and the just devastation that it caused. And it left a lot of people without just the basic necessities to survive. And I was flooded from that video, flooded with comments and a lot of questions about, okay, Brian, if I had to prepare a bag in case of some kind of disaster, whether it's hurricane, a flood, fire, maybe it's a man-made disaster like a without the rule of law, societal breakdown, EMP attack, something like that, then what kind of things would you pack into a go bag where you can just grab a bag and get out quickly if you had to? And so what I want to do today is share with you my top items that I put in a go bag and want to have ready to go and prepared. And I'll try to leave links for all this stuff down below. Now, this is going to be for an individual, not for a family or many people. I will talk about some of the things that I include in here and some other options. So if you are bringing a family with you, things that you might need to consider if you have other people. So anyway, I want to go ahead and jump right in and show you what's in the go bag. All right, so I'm going to start with the backpack itself. This is the 511. This is the Rush 24. This is the 2.0 version, and this is my favorite all-around backpack. And I have a video on this that I'll link below. But it has so many pockets all around on this thing. It's comfortable. It's heavy duty. And you know, if you are trying to bug out, you don't want your backpack to break and all your stuff just to spill out. So anyway, so this is the backpack. And obviously, it doesn't really matter really what backpack, as long as it's pretty sturdy. But this is one I certainly recommend, and you can check that other video out. It's more in detail on this. But I want to set this aside and talk about the stuff that we put inside. All right, so I'm going to try to do this by category. Shelter first. So this is one of the most important things you're going to need. So if you have to bug out and you're in the woods for some amount of time or anything like that, or it's raining, you've got to have some way to have shelter for you or your family. The other thing I'll say real quick about this is, you know, you might obviously have to adjust this on how many people that are with you. If it's just you yourself, this might be different than if it's a whole family. But this is something you need to think about. I've just got this kind of tarp right here. It's got this thermal backing on it. I like the green, so if you do need to be somewhat camouflaged, that's great. This is very thin right here. So anyway, that's very important, I think, to have. And you might need some kind of paracord. Certainly part of this whole kit. I mean, it's like almost a necessary thing. Whether you have like 20 feet like this, or I've got 100 feet here. So whatever you choose to carry, again, how many people you have, but definitely get some paracord and have that in your kit. A couple other things it's easy to throw in. Just a basic kind of emergency poncho like this. And then here is an emergency thermal blanket. So anyway, so they don't take up much room, but they could be life-saving, just to keep the rain off of you, and certainly at night be able to slip into this, keep you warm. And you know, there's other things you're going to have to do in shelter. This is just to use this to, you know, hang this up between two trees. This is just skill knowledge, and that's beyond the scope of purpose of this video. But certainly shelter is going to be a big piece of this kit. All right, so after shelter, you're going to have water somehow to have water, and you know, you're going to have to bring some kind of canteen, clean canteen, or something else like this with you. And of course, you're going to need to have a way to purify water. Got a life straw here, so really handy to have these life straws, and you can just drink. I mean, put this in, you know, dirty water, maybe even contaminated water. It says it removes, let's see, 99.999999% of bacteria. So filters 1,000 gallons is what it's saying on here. So that's is an easy thing to have. Or you can just, you know, you can have some of these kind of portable aqua. You throw these little tablets in the water. You wait. It has instructions on here. But there's some way to filter water on the go. This is super lightweight. This is very small. So having a couple options with you is not a bad way to go, and you know, something to hold the water as well. So water is going to be the next thing here on our list. All right, so a third category is food, and this is going to be some bulky kind of stuff typically, but there's some good products out there. Here's a couple Mountain House kind of freeze-dried food here, and you just add hot water, and you're thinking, well, how do I get hot water? Well, that's where this comes in. Here's another option too, these survival tabs. And these are non-GMO, made in the USA, and just got a lot of nutrition kind of packed into small size. So these are just different options you can think about for your bug out bag. But there's a food, but to heat that food up, either you are going to have obviously a fire or something like this. There's just a tiny little, it's an MSR camp stove, and this folds out like this. And you just screw this into, you know, one of these little canisters. Now, again, this is not going to be for long-term use. This is just maybe a 72-hour kind of kit. So you got to be mindful of how much of this that you use. But it is a nice little option. Really lightweight, very compact, and be able to put this in your bag, throw this in your bag, may not be a bad way to go. And another option, you know, especially if you're cooking over either the stove or a fire, is to have some kind of you know, pot. This is a kind of a pot kit here, if I can get it out. There we go. A little pot kit here. And so this folds out, and there's some, you know, another kind of bowl inside of there. Or you can throw other, you know, you can put this in there and put this in there. So you can kind of condense the size that you have for everything. So might be a nice little handy thing to have with you to heat food and water, that kind of stuff up. So obviously this is your bulky part. This is really the most bulky part of the whole kit is food. And that's just going to be dependent on you, how much you want to take. But these little kits here, this is these are each 2 servings. Yeah, 2 servings for each of these. So, you know, for a single person, this might be a great option for 72 hours. You can survive. If you have this, you can still survive. With this, you know, there's 4 servings here, plus however many servings are in this thing. You know, so anyway, that's certainly food is going to be something you got to think about in your bug out bag. All right, so the next thing you need to think about is fire, and this is my favorite fire starting kit. This is from Blackbeard Fire. Again, I have a whole review video on these. These are amazing kits. You have these cotton wound ropes here, and basically, you know, these ropes, they are infused with oil. They're non-toxic. They're infused with like oil and wax and various things, and they've got a shelf life of like 100 years or something. And then on this side, you have a couple of different fire starting options. You know, you got your ferro rod, and then really cool option here is this. It's a little lighter, and it's an arc lighter, and it has like 300 lights or something like that on one charge. You just charge it up. You don't have to worry about running out of fuel with this. You can just have this charged up, and that's really, between these 2 things, you can get so many fires started. Again, I'll drop a link from my review of this and showing how to light fire when in the water. I mean, I take these things, I soak them in water, and still get them to light. So they're pretty amazing. So having a way to start a fire is almost necessary when you are in the woods. You know, boiling water, heating up food, keeping warm. I don't know, maybe fending off some wild animals or something. So having this kit, I don't know, I think it's just a must-have, something like this. All right, you didn't think I was going to talk about this whole bug out bag and not talk about knives, right? So definitely some options. This is just, you should just have one on you. Your EDC, of course, this is the Stinger EDC from Off Grid Knives, my favorite EDC knife. Here is their backcountry, and this is more of a survival type of blade, and I've got reviews on both of these on my channel. But amazing Cryo D2 blade, and this would be a great way to go for a survival type knife. You know, processing food, even self-defense, all kinds of purposes for this, you know, processing wood, building shelters, whatever. So just having a good solid knife like that. A multi-tool is also a really nice thing to have in your kit, in your bag, and of course, whatever brand you choose. But I like having a good multi-tool. So, you know, having a good knife or different kinds of knives for different purposes on you is just going to be necessary for a bug out bag. All right, so next is medical, and these are both from My Medic. They are sponsors of our channel, and I love these medical kits. And this is kind of an EDC small first aid kit here, IFAC. This is going to be an MFAC. This is going to be for multi-purpose. It's obviously a lot bigger. You're going to have everything you need in here for taking care of a family or multiple people. So obviously, in the bag that I have, I can't fit this with everything else, but this is an option. And I'll have a review on this coming up, but I do have a review on this one already. And this is for life saving. So this is not going to be for your bumps and scrapes kind of kit. I mean, you can throw some Band-Aids in here, I'm sure, but this is going to be for you're seriously hurt with you know, you're bleeding out. It is life threatening. You've got a rat's tourniquet down here. You've got chest seals, 2 chest seals. You've just got you know, these pressure bandages, different things in here for life saving. So if you really need to save a life, then this is, you know, if you're bleeding out or something, then this is a great kit for that. Again, this is going to be a lot bigger. It's going to have everything, this kind of stuff in it, but everything else. So, you know, you can pick, again, I'll leave links to all this stuff down below, but it depends on how many people are with you. And if other people in your family have bags and they've got this kind of stuff with them, you know, somebody can just carry this and maybe a couple other smaller things for everybody else. So just up to you, but medical, you got to at least think about having a good medical kit. All right, so the next thing you need to have is communications. And we're seeing this right now in this big storm that we've just had, and all the cell phone towers, they're not working. The generator's backing those up. They're gone. And so people just cannot communicate. And so you can't always just depend on your phone. And so having an option, whether it's a couple of these kinds of walkie-talkie radios here by DeWalt, and I really have loved these, got a review on those, or a Bofang like this is nice, or a ham radio with a ham radio option. So having those kinds of, you know, of course, this has got, I think, emergency channels for listening to an emergency, I don't know, weather or, you know, other things going on in the area. So, and extra batteries for this. So this is nice. You can unscrew the antenna here, and it's a pretty small package. But throwing some way to communicate other than your cell phone into your go bag is going to be one of those really necessary things, I believe. All right, so next thing you need to think about are some flashlights. I've got a couple of headlamps here from Streamlight. I really like Streamlight. Great value, I think. And there's another Streamlight. This is the ProTac. You can see it there, ProTac. And then, of course, extra batteries. There's a great O light. This is my EDC O light that I love to carry. But of course, extra batteries, you need to have those with you as well. So certainly a way to see in the dark. Let me just throw in a couple of extra things about seeing here. These are bonus, so take that for what it is. But bonus here, here's a thermal monocular that may be handy at night. ASP Micro TM160 thermal imaging monocular. So if you want to see in the dark, some kind of thermal scan, if there's people coming in the night, and you don't want to just shine your bright light to let them know that you're there, then you can use this, something like this. So that's one option. Another couple of things, this is not really for evening, for nighttime, but a couple other things you might want to consider having. These are, again, bonus here. But one is, this is a rangefinder. So if you're trying to figure out how far is the next hill, how far is the next tree that I need to get to, or something, or how far is this camp or town away from me, this will be very helpful as a rangefinder. So having that might be good. And then, of course, having something like this, either a large pair of binoculars like this or a more compact size of binoculars, but having some way to see at a distance might be pretty handy. Now, if your bag is pretty filled up already, go for maybe the smaller package. But maybe some way to be able to see at a distance would be pretty helpful, I think, and handy in a bug out bag. All right, so having some kind of way to defend yourself or protect somebody, could be, again, wild animals, or maybe someone's wanting to hurt you. This is just me. I mean, I'm just going to have something like this with me, whether it's a Glock 43X like this, or Glock 19 or something else, spare mag. Of course, I don't have that loaded right now for the purpose of this video. But one thing I wanted to mention about this is on this bag right here, in the 2.0 version of this, it has this kind of pull away EDC compartment right here. So, and if you get one of these little MTAC holsters, it's got Velcro in there, you can just slide one of these MTAC holsters down there, and that will hold the firearm in place. So having that down there in this bag is a kind of backup, so you're not just kind of showing everybody you have a weapon. that might be a good way to go. So if you want to, I don't know, protect your family, especially in a very disastrous situation and people are going to be crazy, you never know what people are going to do, and you have every right to defend yourself or someone else. And so having something like this, I think is going to be an important part of a bug out bag. All right, so we're coming down the home stretch here. Just some miscellaneous items I like to just throw in the bag. In addition to this, I also actually have already in the bag, I forgot to take it out, just some hand sanitizer. I don't know. It might be helpful to have some way to get some bacteria and stuff off your hands. So, but here's some miscellaneous things. I've got a write in a rain pad, so even if it's raining, and a pen. And that's really handy. If it's wet or damp or something, it'll still write. That could be handy. And also a Sharpie. Got a compass. Got to know how to use a good compass. And this is just my backup compass here, but you know, still might be helpful to have direction. You know, with the compass, and I didn't include it, and I maybe should include it. If you have a little fold-out map, I should have included that. I've got one in my car. But if you have a fold-out map, might be good to throw that in there too, of your general area, your region, wherever you live. So anyway, but there's that. A signal mirror. So if you need, I don't know, to signal somehow, then there's that. And then, I don't know, paracord bracelet. Nice to have just a cloth or some kind of handkerchief like that. Extra charging cables and cords like this. And then this is a cool little battery pack that you can just charge this up, and then you can just charge phones or something else from this. That's pretty handy. So having something like that, I think, might be a good way to go, just to throw this. And you know, none of this stuff takes up much room. These are just little miscellaneous things that I like to have in my bag. All right, so I fit everything that we talked about today in here, and there's actually quite a bit of room to spare in here as well. So that's a really nice thing to have about this particular bag, is all that stuff that we talked about, it's all in here. And again, if that's going to be important to have that extra room, because depending on what season it is, you might want to throw in a toboggan or a hat, or maybe extra socks or something, you know, a little jacket up here. You could easily do that with this extra room in here. So really handy to have, and certainly something to think about, especially if you want to be a provider and protector for your family, certainly for yourself, to have a go bag available, and not to take anything out of it. Just keep it with you, keep it in your vehicle, keep it somewhere in the house where you can just know if there's a disaster, you can just go and grab it and go. That's the whole idea from this. So I hope it's been helpful for you today. And if you've not already done so, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you and your support. We'll see you on the next video.